Good evening, everybody. So let us get started off with the business session for today. So first of all, I have the update from the VP Education side, and that is no roles have been booked for next week. And so I request everybody who is interested in taking up any role to contact the Vice President Education Toastmaster Ujjwal for the same. Next is about the 25th anniversary celebrations of Mekon Communication Club. Even if you're a member or even if you're bringing anybody else along with you, you're allowed to bring one person who is above the age of 18 years. You will have to pay commitment fees or registration fees, whatever you call it, of rupees 300 from your side and for the person you're bringing. So if you're bringing another person, it will be a total of 600 rupees. And you will have to, the link has already been shared on WhatsApp. If you want, it will be reshared today. And you will have to make the payment, take a screenshot, upload it on the Google form and fill the Google form. So a few Toastmasters have only made the payment and left it at that. So you will also have to register along with making the payment. So please do so at the earliest. The last date to register is 20th, because after that we will have to let the people at the President Hotel know how many people are coming, right? So we'll have to give them time also. So I request everyone to register at the earliest, and with that we come to the end of the business session. Over to the Sergeant at Arms.
A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and your esteemed guests present here. What is freedom? Moving towards our goal or achieving our objective without anyone's interaction is called freedom, which is according to us. But what actually is the meaning of freedom? There are a lot of meanings, but generally it means being independent, being free. There are types of freedom like political, personal, economic freedom, but the fundamental right we all possess here is freedom of speech, and one platform which helps us express this right is Toastmasters. With freedom comes a few rules. In Toastmasters, we have complete right to express ourselves behind the lectern. We also have to respect the speaker behind the lectern, and a few rules of those are keeping our phones on silent mode, and I request all of you to do so. Freedom is great, but it solely depends on how we utilize it. There's one person in this room who has utilized the freedom to the fullest and is a role model to all of us. He is a MCom graduate from Jain University and he is currently pursuing US CPA. So please help me welcome the acting president, Toastmaster Shiva, with huge round of applause.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sharanye, for that wonderful introduction. Very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. We have one guest in the room today. So let us have the guests introduce themselves, how you came to know about the club or something like that.
Yeah, so I attended the club as a guest even last time, and that's how I got to know about it. I'm Surya, I'm 20 years old.
Thank you, sir. And now let us have the minutes of the previous meeting from our secretary, Toastmaster Sharanye.
A very good evening, everyone. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1225 held on 7th of August 2023. Theme, Morning Whispers. Word of the week, variety. The business session started at 6:21 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Balaji. In the business session, the following points were addressed. President Toastmaster Balaji announced that Mekon will be completing 25 years and there is going to be a special meeting on 27th of August 2023. The registration for this will be open soon and the members are requested to fill the registration forms. The members can also accompany any one person with them for the event. The complete information will be provided on the WhatsApp group. On behalf of Vice President Education Toastmaster Ujjwal, President Toastmaster Balaji announced that except for 2 speech slots and table topic master, all other roles were open and interested members were requested to contact Toastmaster Ujjwal for the same. The regular meeting started at 6:24 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Lakshmi started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Balaji. President Toastmaster Balaji opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Mamata. Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Mamata spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Pavani, R-Counter Toastmaster Abhimaan, Grammarian Toastmaster Shivaprasad, PP Evaluator Toastmaster Madhu. The prepared speech session had 2 speeches. Toastmaster Lata attempting level 1 project 1, which was evaluated by Toastmaster Sushruth. Toastmaster Jyothi attempting level 2 project 2, which was evaluated by Toastmaster Raja. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Mehjabin and had 11 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by Toastmaster Gaurav. The winners of the week were Best Prepared Speaker Toastmaster Jyothi, Best Evaluator Toastmaster Raja, Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Sai Snehal, Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Gaurav, Best Role Taker Tab G Toastmaster Shivaprasad. The President closed the meeting at 8:20 p.m. which was followed by the National Anthem. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharanye, for reading the minutes of the meeting as diligently as always. Are there any changes to the minutes of the meeting? No. Okay, then I consider it as accepted, and I open meeting number 1226. Good evening, everybody. Once again, welcome to meeting number 1226. I remember I joined Toastmasters about 1 year, 8 months back, and I gave one speech. I gave the icebreaker speech, and after that, I joined in about November, and the new term was about to start 1 month later. And Sai Snehal sitting here said, "Shiva, why don't you nominate yourself for the executive committee?" And very innocently, I just said, "Sai, I've just given one speech. This executive committee, leadership, vice president, all, what do I know?" Right? And he said, "Shiva, these are 2 different things. Executive committee and the other roles that you take up are about leadership. The speeches, the pathways, the projects that you complete are about communication. So leadership and communication that way." And I said, "Okay, fine, let me take a chance. I'm anyway here to step out of my comfort zone." So I sat at home. I saw that mail that had come from the immediate past president, DTM Udanka. I sat there staring at that mail, and it said, "Please nominate yourself for any role in the executive committee." And I sat there thinking, if I nominate, then it is a commitment of 6 months. It just doesn't end with 1 or 2 meetings, right? So should I do this? And leadership really from me, from somebody who is so quiet, can I really help people do anything? And I said, enough thinking. That is why I'm here at Toastmasters. I'll take this up. And there were several roles in the executive committee, right? President, vice president education, a VPM, etc. And I thought to myself, if Sai Snehal is asking such a new member to nominate, probably they have nobody else to fill up the roles. And I said, okay, which one shall I choose? In this list, vice president education, too daunting. Vice president membership, no chance, can't talk to people. I'm the vice president membership now. Vice president public relations, too much work. Secretary, nice role. You know what, I should nominate for the secretary, read out minutes of the meeting week after week. And my job is done. I was seeing Vijay doing it back then. So I sent my nomination in for secretary. And I didn't know there was a little bit of a hierarchy here, right? And I ended up getting associate sergeant at arms. And back then I remember there was a sergeant at arms and I was the associate, her associate. And primarily it is the role of the sergeant at arms to introduce the president, right, week after week. So first couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, the sergeant was there on time. She would be there to introduce the president. It was fine. But then after that, the next 3 or 4 months of the term, there was absolutely nobody to do the introduction. And it was up to the associate sergeant at arms. And back then, I would say, being the first person to speak, having that freedom to open the meeting, it was really daunting, really challenging. You can ask Toastmaster Gaurav, he was standing outside, or Sai Snehal, how scared I would be to open the meeting, right, as sergeant at arms. And back then there was a very funny situation like we had today. The president is not here and I am here giving an impromptu presidential address. The president was, due to work commitments, was not able to attend meetings towards the end of the term. So VP Ed would be the acting president. And then the VP Ed was also not able to come. So the VPM would be the acting president. And then it came down to VPPR. And even one meeting, the secretary acted as the acting president. The only person left was the associate sergeant at arms. And just before it came to me, the president came back. And I didn't expect that I would be giving my first presidential address in this manner, right? So the freedom that I had to express myself back then is what counts. And I remember pulling the president's leg at times, doing all sorts of quirky things to try and introduce the president. People would say all sorts of things, right? You have to come up with creative ways to introduce the president. So they gave me complete freedom. And the president would be completely sportive about it. Shiva, no matter what you say, no matter if you pull my leg, I am fine with it, right? So as long as you do a good job relating the theme to my introduction, I think you've done a fabulous job. So that freedom is what you can see has made me this speaker today. And of course, the theme today chosen as freedom, I know what it is based on. And I remember giving Sergeant's address on this exact day last year regarding a very similar theme. I think it was freedom or something like that. Tryst with Destiny. And I gave out a hilarious Sergeant's address again, comparing how the British were leaving India and Yuvraj Singh hitting 6 sixes and all of that. So that is all the result of nothing but the freedom that was given to. Right? So I firmly believe if you're given the freedom to express, you grow. Or else if you're not given that freedom, you end up becoming a closed country, a closed economy, a closed person. You can look at a child that has grown up in a closed household, in a conservative household, was not given any chance to go out, how closed off they are to the settings of the world, and somebody who's been given freedom. Again, excessive freedom can have problems, but somebody who's been given the right amount of freedom from their parents or from whoever it is, from their Toastmasters club, can definitely grow in life. And that is why you see today, it is no wonder why the countries that are free economies are doing so much better, capitalist or socialist economies, than the ones that are closed off, something like North Korea, right? So freedom is absolutely essential, and with that, I'll choose to introduce the person who chose the theme for today. He's a engineering graduate who studied in the USA, and he works at a company that designs a software similar to AutoCAD. This is what I'm able to remember, and hope with the freedom that he's been given that he's going to do a wonderful job. With that, I'll hand the charge back to the Master of Ceremonies for today, Toastmaster Raj.
Thank you, Acting President Toastmaster Shiva. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. How many of you think we have freedom? A raise of hands. The people who didn't raise their hands, tomorrow is Independence Day. Why you guys didn't raise your hands? Any
no complete freedom, no?
Sorry?
Anywhere you go, there's no complete freedom.
There's no complete freedom. Okay. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
I'm married.
That's a good one. Yeah. So today I'm not going to talk about Nelson Mandela or Gandhi on how they got freedom from other countries or races. Today I'm going to talk about a different type of freedom. Once upon a time, there lived a man, and all his life he learned was how to use a hammer. And the villagers were appreciating for that skill of him. So if any furniture is broken, he will fix it with a hammer. Any nail on the wall, he will fix it with a hammer. Any vessels is bent, he will fix that with a hammer. Any construction work, he will fix it with a hammer. He was fixing everything with a hammer. His friend was coughing, he tried to fix it with a hammer. End of story. End of this story and end of story of his friend as well. Okay, so some of you are laughing who enjoy dark humor. Other people are quiet. Okay. So moral of the story is, don't have a friend with a hammer. No, that's not the moral of the story. Sometimes we know things and we become prisoners of knowledge. We know certain things and our minds will think in only that particular aspect. But we need to get out of that. We need to liberate ourselves and get into freedom so that we are able to think outside of the box. So in Toastmasters, freedom is overcoming communication limitations and have the ability to freely express their ideas and points in an effective manner. So understanding this, Ralph C. Smedley created Toastmasters in 1924, the first meeting was held in YMCA in Santa Ana, California. So today the clubs have like 149 countries and 15,800 clubs with 280,000 members. And our club, Macon, was founded in the year 1998 and we are in the 25th year. We can give a round of applause. So before we get into the meeting, I want to introduce the role takers of today. So the first one is timer Toastmaster Karthik.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, time is very precious, so we do not want to waste our time. So I'll just guide you so we can utilize our time in a good manner. If anything below or more, you can just minimize and get into a control of time. Thank you, everyone. I'll just, as today you all know, the speaker is Gaurav and Mehjabin. They are speaking, Gaurav is speaking. I'll just, green is 10 minutes, yellow is 12 minutes, and red is 15 minutes. And Mehjabin is green is 5 minutes, yellow is 6 minutes, and red is 7 minutes. And table topics, green goes around 1 minute, yellow goes 1.5 minutes, red goes 2 minutes. And evaluator, green 2 minutes, then yellow is 2.5 minutes, and red is 3 minutes. Thank you.
Next, I would like to call Toastmaster Apoorva for the R counter role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of our counter is to note words and sounds that are used as a crutch or a pause filler by anyone who speaks. During the meeting, I will listen for overused words including and, well, but, so, and, you know. I will also listen to filler sounds including a, I will also note when a speaker repeats a word or a phrase such as I, or this means. At the end of the meeting, I will report the number of times that each speaker uses these expressions. Thank you.
Now I would like to call upon Toastmaster Sushruth for the PP role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. A couple of weeks back, I was watching a stand-up comedy by Kenny Sebastian. The disclaimer was, I never talk about sex, religion and politics. I request all the speakers behind the lectern be like Kenny Sebastian. And please turn your mobiles into silent mode and walk in or walk out only during applause. And I'll be giving my reports when called.
I would like to call upon Toastmaster Jyothi for the Grammarian role.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. We had been to dinner the other night, and one among the group said that, please no burger house. When asked why, he said, just last time we ate 7 people at a time. So we were all shocked, like burger house and he ate 7 people. Grammatical error. He had to say, we ate 7 burgers at a time. So no burger house. So that's the importance of grammar. As a grammarian, I shall make notes of good usage and not so good usage, and I shall give the report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you.
Alright, let's get into the meeting. So we have different sections today. The first one is a prepared speech section, where the speakers will deliver the speeches based on their project guidelines. The second one is a table topic section, and the last one is the evaluation. So before I get into the first section and calling the first speaker, I would like to call upon the evaluator Toastmaster Vijay Upendra to read out the project guidelines.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Welcome guests. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. Notes for the evaluator. If you know you will be the evaluator ahead of the meeting, communicate with the speaker to learn about them and their goals for their first evaluation and feedback project speech. Be sure to set aside enough time in your schedule to meet with the speaker after their speech to review the evaluation and answer any questions they may have. The member has spent time writing a speech to present at a club meeting. About this speech, the member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic. Focus on the member's speaking style. Be sure to recommend improvements that the member can apply to the next speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses. The member will ask you to evaluate their second speech at a future meeting. All the best to the speaker. Back to you, MC of the day.
The first speaker I'm about to introduce works as a data analyst, and she loves to travel, and her dream is to travel around the world. She's a regular gym goer, and she likes reading novels and likes to play and watch tennis. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Mehjabin on her speech titled Mind Your Mind.
What is mind? Any guesses?
Full of matter.
That's also true. The mind is like energy. It remains a mystery. It is least understood but most wasted. The mind is the element that empowers a person to think, feel, reason, understand, and make judgments. It is intangible and abstract, but it is for real. Fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Our mind is a thought factory. It generates either positive or negative thoughts. We can condition our thought factory by becoming like a thermometer or a thermostat. A thermometer can read only the external temperature. It has no power to influence or change anything beyond that. It is helpless. But a thermostat, it has both the abilities. It can read and regulate. It controls its environment. As I said, our mind is a thought factory. Good in, good out. Positive in, positive out. Trash in, trash out. Unfortunately, trash in and trash out is not always true. But often, trash in, trash stays, it grows, it breeds within us. This multiplier effect is destructive and dangerous, and the trash as in negative thoughts. Now let me share a personal, insightful analogy that beautifully illustrates the impact of a negative attitude on our lives. Sometimes a jellyfish swallows a snail. Because of its tough shell, the snail stays alive and protected. To sustain itself, the snail starts eating the jellyfish from inside, consistently and daily. It keeps growing until a day comes when it consumes entire jellyfish and the fish is no more. Just the way the jellyfish decides its own destruction by swallowing a snail, the negative attitude eats us from within until we self-destruct. It's our attitude that reflects and that decides the end of the result. A negative attitude, a good attitude can take us places, but a bad one can pull us down. A balanced mind is more important than all degrees, qualification, experience and knowledge. When you all put together, it is much more important. Imagine that we need a brain surgery. Who do we look for? Obviously the best surgeon in the city, not the second or third best. How do you know he's the best one?
Based on his pricing.
Definitely. We check his track record, his experience, his qualification, etc., etc. Or maybe looking at the walls full of his certificates, testimonials and pictures. Or maybe he has done some of the major surgeries too, and everyone in the city refers him as the best. So we readily agree to get the surgery done by him. Suppose, just right going into the operation theatre, the nurse comes in and whispers in our ear, the doctor lost one of his loved ones last night. And since morning, the doctor lost his balance and somehow he doesn't appear to be himself. Now, would we get our surgery done by him? Why? What just has changed? His credential hasn't, his testimonials hasn't, his credibility hasn't, his qualification hasn't, even his experience hasn't. What just has changed suddenly? Exactly. We do not want to be operated by him because we are not sure about his mental and emotional balance. To succeed in life, the emotional and mental balance is much more important, or we can say it plays a crucial role in our life. And what if this balance gets shaken? We stuck in the traffic, we lose our cool. Who is controlling us? Our mind is. The balance is shaken. The weather changes outside, we get disturbed internally and emotionally. Who is controlling us? Our mind is. The balance is disturbed. We go out to buy something and the cashier messes up at the shop. And now we give our remote control to the cashier. Now cashier is controlling us. We cannot allow others to operate on us or influence us to the extent that loses control over ourselves destructively. We shouldn't allow life to let us drift. We need to become the CEO of our own mind or life. In life's orchestra, we are both composer and conductor. The thermostat analogy teaches us to react, not just to regulate, not just to read. As the CEOs of our own mind, let's harmonize purpose and balance. That is why I would like to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehjabin, for giving insights on the mind. Okay, so before I call upon the next speaker, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Udanka to read out the project guidelines.
The purpose of this project is for the member to practice the skills needed to address audience challenges when he or she presents outside the Toastmasters club. Notes to the evaluator, that's me. During the completion of this project, the members spent time learning how to manage difficult audience during a presentation. About this speech, the member will deliver a 5 to 7 minute speech on any topic and practice responding to 4 audience disruptions. The speech may be new or previously attempted speech. You do not evaluate the speech on the speech content. The evaluation is based on the member's ability to address and diffuse challenges present by the audience during the speech, which were assigned by the roles by the Toastmasters or Vice President Education prior to the meeting. Watch for professional behavior, respectful interaction with the audience, and the use of strategies to refocus the audience on the member's speech. The member has 10 to 15 minutes to deliver his 5 to 7 minute speech and respond to disputes. All the best to the speaker, and back to you.
So the speaker I'm about to introduce is a BCom graduate, dog lover, loves to sketch and to do photography. And the girls who are going to watch online, this is what he has said. Masala dosa and biryani is his way to his heart. And he is a past president. And ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Gaurav on his speech titled "The Mountains Are Calling."
Thank you, Master Toastmaster Vijay, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests present today. Very good evening.
Good evening.
So everybody has a dream destination that they have traveled long back, or maybe they're planning for the future. For me and my mother, it's always been Leh Ladakh. From the time I was in college, I always wanted to go to Leh. During my second year degree, we actually planned of going, but due to COVID, we were stuck inside the house for 2 years. And post-COVID, there was my first time getting into a job. So I was pretty busy in my job as in for 2 years. This year, June, when I quit my job, I decided, let me take a break. Let me take a break from all this corporate work that I've been doing for 2 years, and let's just go travel someplace and come back. So as I was searching for places, it suddenly struck my mind, why not make this dream come true, that going to Leh? So me being a very good son, I went to my mother and I said, I have some savings with me. Think this trip is a gift from my end. Let us both go to this Leh next month. And all you have to do is just take 1 week of holiday and ensure you just come with me. Yeah.
I think this is more of a gift to yourself. Otherwise, if you really wanted to gift your mother, then Leh is not the right gift.
I'll tell you why it's a right gift. So my mother, from the time I was in PU, she always used to say it's a only dream to travel Leh, and she used to tell that until she becomes
Did
old.
she say Leh or LA?
Leh Ladakh, of course, Leh Ladakh. Yeah, so after I told this plan, my mother was very excited. She got very excited that her dream is coming true. So she just, with full of excitement, she just booked all her holidays. She informed the office and everybody. And my mom has a habit of speaking to her sisters. She has 2 elder sisters. She has a habit of speaking to them through phone call.
You don't speak to your siblings or cousins?
I don't have siblings. I do speak to my cousins, but
That's not your habit, is what?
yeah, it's not my habit. Maybe once a week. I'm so busy girl. So she has a habit of speaking to her 2 sisters every alternate days. So with full of excitement, she was informing her sisters that I and my son are going to Leh Ladakh, and it's my dream come true moment. And for formality's sake, she tells, why don't you both join us? Can you please keep your phones on silent? Thank you, Toastmaster Sharanye. So the dream come true moment, she explained to her sister that it's a dream come true, and for formality's sake, she tells her, why don't you both join us? Me, who was right next to her, I'm like, what are you doing? It's a trip for us both. Like, why do you want your sisters with us?
Udanka, you water bottle?
No. You're not Udanka, no?
You're not Udanka.
I wasn't talking to her.
Everything said. So, as I was telling, I am like, why are you calling your sisters? And my mother is like, you wait, it's just for formality's sake. Then I thought, my 2 aunts, the only trip they have ever been to in their life is temples and all these religious places. So I knew that 100% they are gonna say no for this adventurous spot. Then my mom all of a sudden, became philosophical. She's like, you know what, you live only once. I know you both are scared to come with us, but we're gonna be there, we're gonna ensure that you're gonna have a safe trip. Just remember you live only once. And the formality's sake became a true fact. They told, yes, we are coming with you guys. And along with my 2 aunts, they now get their 2 daughters, who are my cousins. One is of 29 years old and one is of my age, but she's more of a 20.
What about your dog?
Dog's dad is gonna take her. Actually, a good question. Yeah. My dad told it's.
You didn't take your dad to Leh.
He told he doesn't want.
Pardon?
Dad's name is LA.
Oh. Maybe dad's dream is to send them both off.
Yeah, maybe I actually had a party. He sent me a photo that he was having a party with his friends at his home. So maybe it was his plan to have a party.
So who enjoyed more, your dad or you and your mom and Leh?
That I'll come to it at the end of this speech. So
No, but I think we'll leave that answer.
Yeah,
Because
It was actually not me, it was my other relatives who
it's
enjoyed
always
it.
single men are always there.
But he did not go.
No, but maybe he's. Depends, no? Are you happy?
Would you call
You think along your
I
life.
think you're a mama's boy, right? I mean, you're a mama.
I am both my parents' boy. I don't take any preferable sides.
Then how come you took only a mom to live?
And left your dad.
I asked my dad, he was not ready to
You
come.
didn't mention that in the speech. You said, I just went to my mom and I asked her. That didn't come out.
Correct.
Maybe I forgot, sorry for that. My bad. Okay, so, as I was saying,
Research is required.
I research is important, yeah. Maybe next time I'll keep that. So
you're going with your mom again today?
No, I'll
Let's
get back.
teach again.
I'll get back. Wait. So in July, yeah, as I was going to lay in July, so along with my two aunts, they're gonna be my two sisters as well. One is of 29 years of age. One is of my age, but she's more of a 23-year-old, 50-year-old soul inside her. Little bit of a old school kind of a girl. So this trip, which was supposed to be a mama's and a boys trip, turned out to be 5 ladies and 1 guy's trip.
A baby's day out.
In fact, I was not considered as a fellow companion to this trip. In fact, I was considered as a personal photographer for these 5 ladies, and a guy was carrying their bags around. So I guess you all can understand how this trip would have been.
I mean, what are you relating
Just listen to my speech, just starting. So my flight was on 17th of July. It was which is on Monday, 9:30 p.m. and our flight was Air India. So we got into the airport, we checked in and we boarded the flight at 8:45. I sat on my seat and in front of me I saw a small advertisement of LIC which said, buy insurance, premium insurance plan offers to keep you and your family safe. I'm like, who will put this in a flight? Like, first of all, I'm traveling with few newbies. They're first time traveling in flight. They're of course scared. All of a sudden, just look at this. Of course, they're going to be more scared as well. Then we reached Delhi in the next
That's
day.
the perfect place for an ad.
It actually
Scared, you
is.
come back and immediately buy a license.
So what if you
You can't be complaining.
I mean, you could go again the flight, not return back.
That's what I eventually said, you know, so you will come back.
Maybe I'm not a marketing student, so I don't worry regarding that. So we reached Delhi at 1:30 in the morning.
What was
next
it specialization?
Finance.
Finance. In MBA?
No, MBA I'm going to pursue. Maybe in finances.
Maybe if you learn marketing, you'll get a better college.
No, it's alright. I prefer finance more than marketing. So I reached Delhi at 1:30 in the morning on 19th of July. I mean 18th of July. Then there was 4 hours of layover. Then our next flight from Delhi to Leh was at 5 o'clock. And that is the best flight journey I ever had. After 30 minutes of traveling, I just look through my window and I see Himalayas all around. Completely filled with snow. It felt like more of a chocolate ice cream with little bit of vanilla toppings on top. It was the best flight journey ever.
So you had your mother with you, whose dream was to go to Leh, and you took the window seat.
I booked window seat to everyone. Let's not fight for window seat. I booked.
So you didn't want to sit with them, basically.
Actually, I don't want anybody to disturb me while I was traveling.
No, he was hoping if he could sit next to some girl.
No, in fact, next to me were 2 Russians. It was a married couple, so I missed my chance.
I thought air
Air hostess were of old people.
The LIC ad was not there on the second flight?
No, it was not. So we reached Leh at 6:30 in the morning and we were taken directly to our hotel. And our agency people told that first day, you just rest in your rooms because we are at a higher altitude of 11,000 feet. So there will be less of oxygen level. Yeah, you need to get used to the atmosphere as well because all of a sudden you might feel there is a less of oxygen.
You just have to, like at every altitude, you need to stay back. Like if you have to go to the Siachen, the Jawans actually stay back at every altitude and then they go to Siachen. So that process is called, you're getting acclimatized to every.
Okay.
So why did you go to Leh?
No, I haven't gone to Leh, but I've gone to higher.
Kashmir. Okay. So we were at the hotel on the first day. We are not supposed to travel anywhere. But our driver just took us all around the Leh part where we went to Leh Palace, and he took us to Leh Market. It felt like more of a MG Road in Bangalore kind of vibe.
What did you get for everybody?
I just got for myself.
Window seats.
Window seats.
Yeah. So I had the best momos
But
and.
I thought you went with your mom to Sano, make her dream come true. So you guys, you did not
Sindhu, I
went
think you're disturbing him, I guess.
Yeah.
In his
That's the
speech.
whole point of this speech, but maybe we can.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point right now that you're proving is you're a disturbed speaker.
Yeah. You get disturbed.
Yeah.
Not getting disturbed is also a point of the speech, which you're
You
not
want
achieving.
water?
So it's already 10 minutes up.
You've gone to Leh, you're already there. At least it'll take 10 minutes.
He went to cafe, he went to market place now.
Okay,
Bye.
I had many things in plan. From Leh, we went to Nubra Valley. Nubra Valley was the best traveling place because I'll explain. Patience. So Nubra Valley was the best travel because we had to pass through a pass called Kardungla Pass. It's the most highest peaked altitude, highest peak, motorable peak, where you can take your bikes and all the cars you want.
How's a pass a peak?
It's a peak where there is a pass. Yeah, apparently there's a few army officers over there who take care of the pass.
You passed through the peak.
Yeah.
Did you take the bike?
No, I went in car, buddy. I had 5 ladies. I can't leave them.
Was the peak short?
Huh?
Was the peak short?
It's not pencil, it's mountain. It's not short.
You do know I'm a geography teacher. Right?
I know, but in drawings it used to be peak, but it's not. It was not a peak.
Pass is basically that passes between two peaks.
But no, it was the pass as in
that's a road.
It's a road, but there is one pass. If you have to cross that pass to go to Nubra Valley, it's basically meant that way. I don't know how it works, but that is what the driver told.
I mean, it already exists.
It already exists.
Yeah. How can it work?
It's a man-made pass, Sindhushree.
So
Okay, it's
it
not. It's not.
works.
Yeah.
Works for you.
It,
Or it's a pass.
what are you trying to imply?
What works? You told it works. What works?
Nothing works. Let me finish this speech. So we reached the peak. It was the best peak I ever been because the traveling in the starting point it was full sunny, and at the middle it felt a little bit of drizzling. At the end, it was full of snow. I couldn't keep my inner child within me because I was so excited to see the first time natural snow. In fact, I was so excited, made a snowball and threw it my mother as well. Why I threw, I'll tell you at the end. And after reaching Nubra Valley, the next day we have to go to
But
Bangalore.
isn't that end now because the yellow card is
No, my
already
question
shown?
is different.
Yeah.
Why didn't you throw it at your aunts also? That also you tell at the end?
I'm not that close to them. I don't want to create any fuss.
This is your Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum moment, right?
It's okay. I don't want to have Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum. So the next day we had to go to Pangon Lake, which has been my dream destination, the place where 3 Idiots climax scene was shot. Okay. And please keep your phones on silent. Okay. So Pangon Lake, yeah. Pangon Lake is, if you're going to Leh, it's compulsory to visit Pangon Lake. It's like going to, I'll tell you. It's I mean, all the visitors tell that. All the tourists tell that. So going to if you're not going to Pangon Lake, it's like going to CRT and not having a masala dosa, or going to Meghana's and not having biryani. CTR, sorry, my bad. My bad, CTR, okay. So we were supposed to leave to Pangon from Nubra Valley, and on the spot, after a point of traveling, we saw there's been a lot of traffic jam. And we asked we inquired what happened over here. They told there's been a landslide and the roads are completely blocked and no one can pass through. I asked my driver how long will it take to clear the way. He told maybe 4 or 5 hours. If not, worst case scenario, maybe 1 or 2 days. It felt like my heartbeat stopped for a second, and it felt like he told if it's going to happen 1 or 2 days, we are not going to Pangon Lake as well. So I was a little disturbed. I didn't know what to do because it has always been my dream to go to Pangon Lake. So we waited for 4 or 5 hours, and then we got to know that the roads are cleared, and we proceed forward to the Pangon Lake. We reached the Pangon Lake.
I'd like to correct your grammar.
Yeah.
It's not proceed forward.
Okay, we
proceeded forward.
Okay, proceeded forward to
Good
reach.
observation. Good observation.
Yeah, I will move forward. Like
Proceed forward is fine.
It's fine.
Okay, look at the
Just
graph.
move on.
I'll just look into it in the Google.
I guess you were that person who ate 7 people in
How
that
did you
burger
figure
place.
it out? How did you figure out, like, moving on? I thought you called somebody in between, right?
No, I didn't. Which speech are you listening?
The multiple versions of the stories.
No, so we move ahead with our journey and
Oh, it's time up.
it's fine. A little bit more left. I'll just conclude. So we reached Pangon Lake
You
at.
have 30 seconds to down.
Okay, fine. We reached Pangon Lake at 12:30 midnight, and I asked the driver like, "Where is the lake? I'm not able to see anything because there's no
What's the
street
timer?
lights."
Where is the lake?
Huh?
What's the driver?
Driver, where is the lake? I'm not able to see.
Okay, you said timer.
Then the driver told, just sleep tonight, just wake up in the morning, you're gonna have a hell of a view, you're gonna feel that you're in heaven. I couldn't sleep that night because I wanted to see that view very badly. And at 5 o'clock, I just step out of my cottage and I see a magnificent view. There's a huge lake in front of me, and behind that there are so many mountains. In fact, that Pangon Lake is India-China border. That mountains which I was saying, it is Pakistan, China border. And this lake, 30% belongs to India and 70% belongs to the Chinese. Then I was the only one awake at 5 o'clock. I just went near the lake. I just sat there for 2 hours, no one to disturb, and I was just enjoying that view and that silence.
Who didn't take Sindhushree? She's disturbing the bath.
Yeah.
I agree.
Why am I attacked?
No, I agree with what Supreeth said.
Okay, we. Huh?
I got a question.
Yeah.
What if we cross the lake and we are at the 31st person?
You won't come back.
You'll be a prisoner in Chinese border, that's it. Okay, so everyone, all my relatives woke up at 9 o'clock and we all got ready, and our driver took us to the spot where the actual climax scene of 3 Idiots was shot. And we were all taking photos, and one of my aunt tells me to take a photo and she poses this. I'm like, what are you trying to do? She's like, take a photo in such a way it feels like I'm holding the mountain. I'm like, first of all, look at the view. It's such magnificent view. And we have
Why are
tried.
you judging?
I'm not judging.
Yeah, he is judging.
I'm judging, yeah.
He's judging.
I'll tell you.
Just because she's old. And
Yeah, just because she's enjoying it her own way.
A Taj Mahal.
Yeah, Taj Mahal moment.
Or Paris.
Yeah, so.
It's very. I don't like that
Why
pose.
are you judging?
I'm not judging. I just don't like it.
did she force you to take that picture?
Yeah, I was forced to take it.
Then
The picture
it makes
is
sense.
The
He
picture
was
is
forced to take the picture.
So
Right.
you
I
can
was-
pass judging.
I'll tell you
No, but
why
it's
I judge
right.
them.
It's right.
I'll tell you why I judge
But
them.
it's
Wait.
not good to judge older people.
It's fine, my
It's good to
point.
the younger people.
I mean, it's his generation, so it's good. It's okay, it's his cause.
I totally disagree.
I think we should respect the heritage.
Alright, so I tell her that we have traveled 3,000 plus kilometers to just take a photo posing this.
How much did it cost to travel 3,000 kilometers now?
It costed per head 50,000 something. I'll get back to
No,
you.
tell him a cash flow is in our story. No?
I'll give you all the details as soon as this meeting is done, maybe during the break time. So
The timer should
I
be
know
fine.
it's a red card. Give me some time to finish. At least wait for this. It's a very hilarious moment. I like to
Timer, you
show.
can.
Okay.
You can get to the
Balaji
digging.
and various moments. No, continue about it.
Okay. So
No, go for it.
Go keep showing.
yeah.
We have a TTM to.
I know. It's okay. So as I was saying, that she posed this way, and I'm like, okay, we have traveled so far and posing this way. And in fact, what I love the most is any part of the world you go, you'll find people taking a photo. Maybe Taj Mahal, Qutub Minar or Eiffel Tower, mountain. If it's a sun, yeah, there is sun. And in fact, it's not just my aunt. I saw many other tourists over there, and one guy was doing a Shah Rukh Khan pose. I'm like, he didn't look like a Shah Rukh Khan
But you also made a
fan.
snowball and threw it at your mom.
That is different than Shah Rukh Khan.
Okay, Shreya.
And after that, I saw one couple doing a Titanic pose. I'm like, come on, this is a lake, not a sea, that you can do a.
So you
Titanic.
judge everybody, not just
That was an ocean. It was not a sea. where
Okay,
it was
ocean or sea, potato, tomato. all.
No. This is an ocean. This is a sea.
Yeah, okay, fine. It's an ocean. It's a sea. I'm very bad at geography. Sorry, my bad. That's why I'm a finance student.
Geography was in school.
I know, but I didn't study geography. I copied and
Clear
passed.
10th
I
grade.
copied and passed.
Well, copying at least you have to look at some.
I just blindly wrote.
No, I think time out. Go
Time
serious.
out,
No,
time out.
seriously.
Yeah, 2 minutes. I'm just concluding it.
Let's all let them conclude. 30 seconds.
Okay, fine. Then I saw one couple where the husband was shooting a reel for the wife and she picks up the water and she's doing this. I mean, what's the point of that? And in the China border, I saw there was few camps. I asked the driver what are those camps. He told me that it's a military camp.
Wasn't it the 31st% of the lake?
What's up with you on 31st?
In engineering, you're worried about
You made the Toastmaster of the day disturb the speech.
I mean, I could see clearly that there was a camp over there because there was fire and all that. I mean, campfire.
Yeah, you look worked up, Gaurav. Do you need some water?
No, it's fine.
Gaurav, can we do that? That's not for masala dosa came in.
I know.
Means time's up.
I know, right? So
We'll let him finish this.
Okay. So I asked the driver what is the camp. He told me it's a Chinese military camp trying to protect the border. So I had a funny thought. Maybe a Chinese military person comes out of his tent. He's like, such a nice, wonderful day. And he says, okay, fine, let's see what our neighbors are up to. And he takes his binocular and he sees this. Shah Rukh Khan pose, this. Like, it would be so embarrassing, to see that if you're doing such a pose and if someone sees it, it would be so embarrassing. Even to think it's so embarrassing, if it really happens, it's going to be very embarrassing. And after Pangong Lake, we came back to Leh, and the next day we came back to Bangalore. Now, to conclude, every place you go, you learn something. And in fact, I learned something when I traveled Leh as well. I learned that people are very friendly, very patient, and they have a lot of humanity towards their people. And when I was traveling to other places like Nubra Valley and Pangong Lake, there's no proper cottage as such. And we were worried where our drivers were going to sleep. And I asked the management there, they told nothing to worry. In these places, we have a cottage called driver's room. Basically, all these drivers are allowed to stay in that room for free of cost. And they're allowed to have food for free of cost. I'm like, that's a wonderful idea. I've never seen like this in any place. And when I traveled there looking at such beautiful people, such kind people, I realized we are in such a fast-moving society and fast-moving city. Sometimes we forget to help others. Sometimes we forget that we are humans, in fact. So I decided anytime soon, if anybody is in need, or if there's anybody who needs my help, I always want to be there. So that's my trip to Leh Ladakh. Thank you, and back to the house.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. I think everybody enjoyed asking questions for him. Even the guests started interacting on that. Don't you think audience is annoying? Just want to ask the guest.
I think it's okay.
Think it's okay? It's a part of the project. Yeah. Alright, let's move on to the next section. So the next section is the table topics master. She is a product manager at Kalagato, and she's a past area 2 director, and whatever role she gets in, she does it in a very creative and an innovative manner. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Toastmasters Sindhushree.
Thank you so much, Raja. So before we start the table topic session, I'll give, for the benefit of the guests, I'll explain what is table topic. It's a very impromptu speaking session where, as a table topic master, it's my responsibility to hand out topics for each and everyone who is in the guest, and it is a responsibility for you as an audience to volunteer and speak for a minimum of 1 to 2 minutes. So timer, if you can help me here, raise green card at 1 minute. So this is when you have to give a minimum level of your speech. At 1 minute 30 seconds, we'll show you yellow card, and at 2 minutes, we'll show you the red card. 2 minutes says wrap it up and conclude it and move ahead. So why exactly do you have to do a table topic session, and why exactly do you have to improve your impromptu speaking skills, and why is it even important? Every day, as I work as a product manager, per day we attend at least 10 meetings. The beginning of the day starts with a meeting where the entire team sits together to discuss about the progress. Every week is a hustle in corporate. Every week we have a new KPI to achieve. Every week in a startup, it's a do or die, shape up or ship out. Every week I started presenting about the 3 products that I was heading. And somewhere there was always something going wrong. One time I was a news reporter who was reading out all the metrics telling this percentage increase, this percentage decrease. What do I do next? But then the team did not understand. The second time I told only the good things and told we have achieved all these things and we'll see what we can do for this week. That did not go well again. And the third level, I started telling both positive, both negative together. And that time we lost the focus on what exactly we had to concentrate upon. Things were not going great for me. And that's when I realized we do this in Toastmasters as well. Where every time a speaker comes and occupies this particular stage, we give him an evaluation. What do we do there? 3 good points, 2 bad points, what did not work for us, and 1 challenge to work upon. That is all I did in a one meeting where I wrote down all these points, whatever I had, all my metrics listed down. I picked the 3 things that worked for me, the 3 things we've achieved in the previous week, the 2 things that did not go in my way, and what is the solution for that, and 1 challenge for me to work upon in this particular week and find a solution for it. And trust me when I say this, the method worked brilliantly. Every time you take up a stage, whatever is it, you have to make up your mind to speak something that makes sense, to speak something what you feel and put your perspective. And every time you occupy the stage as a speaker, you're also an evaluator for yourself. So volunteer yourself, challenge yourself, speak your mind, that is all you have to do. And when you occupy the stage, it is not necessary for you to start speaking instantly. Take 30 seconds, think for yourself, formulate your thoughts, organize it, and present it to everybody. That is all you have to do. Any guests have doubt? No one. Good. Let's proceed ahead for the meeting today. So who will be my very first? Okay, first I'll read out the topic and I'll call up the volunteer. So the very first topic is, a degree says you're qualified. What you do with it is in your hands. A degree says you are qualified. What you do with it is in your hands. For this topic, I would like to welcome Keerthana on the stage.
Life without freedom and is like a body without spirit, says the very famous Khalil Gibran. So keeping freedom in mind, so let's start with the topic that's being given to me, that is, what is the degree?
Degree.
Yeah. And how, can you please?
A degree says you're qualified, what you do with it is in your hands.
Oh, a degree says you're qualified, what you do with it is in your hands. Perfect. My own example, I did my master's in women's studies, and that was after my marriage. And I'm not bragging, but I did get a gold medal for it. And after that, I stayed at home for a decade. So what did I do with the degree? I changed nappies with it. What did I do with the degree? I ensured my bed sheets are clean because my baby was burping. So what did I do with the degree? I binge watched. What did I do with my degree? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But what I did later on, I joined to be a part-time preschool teacher, and from them eventually one after another I am where I am today. So it's imperative what degree or what education we have. What really matters is how practical you are, how street smart you are, and when opportunities come your way, how well you handle it. So I believe if you actually see the best of the best, like Dhirubhai Ambani, he probably didn't have a fancy degree, but we all know what he is. And we know so many people who possibly had big degrees, but they are not where they should be, keeping their degrees in mind. So I think, according to me, it does not matter whether you have a degree or you don't have a degree. What matters is your integrity, and most importantly, how you utilize opportunities that come by your way.
That's really amazing, Keerthana. What you missed out was, it's also very important how adaptive you are, and it is great to see that you changed from being a full-time mother to going back to the work and picking up the skills that you picked upon. That's very great. Please give a huge round of applause for Keerthana. So let's move forward. The next topic is, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there is a credit card. there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there is a credit card. And this particular topic goes to Toastmaster Sushruth.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed. I should definitely thank you, Sindhushree, for motivating me while you are introducing what is table topics, because I really don't have a clue what I'm going to talk now. But still, I'm going to talk because you motivated me. The topic was.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there is a credit card.
Basically, the topic is everything can't be bought with money. Okay. Before a week back, if you asked me what was the best day in your life, I would say today. But if you ask me today, what was the best day in your life, I would say yesterday, because yesterday I discovered something I could never buy with money. It's been 2 to 3 years, I guess, since I played cricket, because I never met a player who was on my caliber, on my level. I would never like to play with someone who is not in my level. So I never played since 2-3 years, I guess. Yesterday, one of my friend in Bangalore asked me to come to play, play cricket with him. So I thought, why not? It's already been 2-3 years already. Let's see, and I went with him. Yesterday, I discovered an entire team, not just one player, not 2 players, but entire team that were of my caliber. Even they didn't know how to swing the bat or catch. Even I did. So that is something truly priceless I found out, and I'm going to play every single Sunday from upcoming Sundays. And back to table topics.
Toastmaster Sushruth, please take me also along with you when I don't know how to play cricket or swing bat or So let's move forward. The next topic is, you will have to buy spectacles if you can't see your potential. You will have to buy spectacles if you can't see your potential. And this topic goes to DTM MU Bhat. You will have to buy spectacles if you can't see your potential.
Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. The question asked to me is, I will have to buy spectacles if I can't see whether my potential. Let me connect. I think you have given me 10 seconds to think over, because I'm still trying to wonder what spectacles can do to discover my potential. Because every time I watch TV, many times for last 2-3 years, I had some problem with spectacles. Seeing here, I'm not able to see properly. So so I was just thinking, what's my, just first of all to decide about my potential. She says I have to see my spectacles. But seeing through spectacles, my spectacles, how can I see my value or my potential in whatever field I can go through? Let me think. It's quite a complicated question you asked, madam, because spectacles. The potential what you are seeing for yourself. If you see a spectacle, you see a thing which is larger than life. What exactly, if you wear a glass, you'll see the thing which is larger than life. And when you see those spectacles, if you are not able to see that, then you are not able to identify your potential. For you to see your potential in a bigger way, you need to see in a proper way you have to look at it. Then only you will realize that yes, I can do this work, or I am able to do that particular issue, I am able to solve it. And that is a kind of sight. So it is a figuratively or metaphorically, it is a sight which we see the things through your spectacles. That decides your spectacle. If you are able to see that you are able to do a job, you are able to do it. If you think you are not able to do it, you cannot do it. So it's the way you look at it. So it's whether you wear the spectacles or you don't wear spectacles. Ultimately, what's the spectacle, what you are referring, I can understand, is the metaphorical side, the way you look at yourself and whether you can see the future properly in a proper perspective. That will decide your future in life. So that's my take on it. Back to you, madam.
Thank you so much, Vijay Mehjabin. Very close to what you said. Just believe in yourself. It takes too much of effort sometimes, especially on those days when you think the day is long or the work is too much, or you think, oh, I'm not going to succeed. When you have all those doubts in yourself, be kinder to yourself and just believe I'm going to achieve it. And that is all it takes to know that your true potential. And let's proceed forward. So the next topic is your happiness in traffic is just a playlist away. Your happiness in traffic is just a song playlist away. And this particular topic goes to DTM Udanka. Please give me a round of applause.
Thank you so much for that topic, Table Topic Master. My song playlist is my happiness during the traffic. Definitely I agree, because when I'm traveling 40 kilometers a day two-way, and in this huge traffic of Bangalore, which is rated as the second highest traffic zone in the entire world, we want something to keep us occupied, right? And if you put on the FM, it has its own varieties of songs which is playing out. And if it is my own playlist, that playlist is basically created on my likes and my dislikes. So that though you are standing in a big signal for at least 3-4 signals, though you are not able to cross that junction for a couple of minutes, though there are people who are just bypassing you and not able to drive properly or irritating you a lot while driving. That's the common thing we see, or mainly the potholes. Avoiding those potholes and driving, you'll go to the frustration mode sometimes, especially when you're too busy, when you're urgently want to reach a place and this all factor comes at a time, you'll be frustrated and you want something to come out of this frustration, and that's when these musics will help you out. And without people who know me well, I don't drive slowly, and without music I cannot. That's one thing I wanted to add on today. Without music I usually don't drive. Anytime I'll have my AirPods in my pocket, and one of the AirPod is in my ears while driving, so that if not, that comfort will not be there for me while driving. Even if I'm going on long drives, AirPod will be on, but it will not be on high volume as how we do in city. It will be on a lower volume. With that, back to your topics, Master.
Thank you, DTM Udanka. It's true when they say in Bangalore the life happens in traffic. Because I have been told by my colleagues who come from North India that Bangalore is the only place where things go in the move. For example, people are working in the laptop in the auto, or some Rapido driver is learning a digital marketing course while he is dropping people, or there's a person who is probably taking his interview in the cafe. Bangalore is the only place where life is on the go always. And definitely all the startups and the business plans and models have encashed on this particular idea, and you can definitely see why all the startups are delivery in 2 minutes or delivery in 5 minutes, and we have so many drivers out there who is dropping things to our place. And Bangalore is one such place where life is always not on the rush but on the go. So let's proceed forward to the next particular topic. The next topic is people who are unresponsive on the individual chat become super responsive on the group. People who are unresponsive on the individual chat become super responsive on the group. And this particular topic goes to Toastmaster Shivaprasad. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for that wonderful topic. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests. I honestly just walked in today, saying I have no role. I'm going to relax, one table topic response, and I'm done. But I also had to give another bigger table topic response, which was an impromptu presidential address today. People who are more, coming to the topic, people who are very responsive on individual chat are not responsive on group chat. Is it the opposite? Opposite. Well, the opposite is true for me, right? I hardly, I'm very apprehensive about sending messages on any group chat. Right now, especially that we have a lot of group chats, that we are in Toastmasters, this club, that club, executive committee, this committee. And when you send a message on a group chat, you are thinking, it is not just one person, but 20 other people, 30 other people, or 50, 100, how much our WhatsApp allows, are going to see my message. And each person has a different way of thinking, right? So just because you are in a group chat, it doesn't mean you become very active. I don't know where you came up with this idea that people are more active on group chats. Because I personally am active on personal chats, right? I prefer that I'm speaking to one person at a time. On group chats, I've seen people who manipulate group chats, or sorry, manipulate is not the right word, who talk to each other on a group chat. It is just two people in a conversation, right? If you have to do that, you can do it on personal chat, right? We don't need to know about all your where you are right now, or the group chat is made for a particular reason. So I would say I am the opposite of what Sindhushree has said today, that I don't like to commit any coughs on any group chats, right? So I am more active on personal chats. With that, back to the table topics.
So this particular topic was given to Shiva because since he is the chief conversion officer of the Mekon, and people become unresponsive to you when you ask for money, was the one thought behind it. But I'm very glad that people are more responsive to you, and as the title goes, chief conversion officer really suits you. And the president, you can be rest assured that each member gets individual attention from BPM. Now we have the proof. So let's proceed forward. And the next topic is, in this country, English is not a language, it's a class. In this country, English is not a language, it's a class. And this particular topic goes to Ramakrishna. Can we please have you on stage, sir?
Good evening, all. The topic given is...
in this country, English is not a language, it is a class.
Okay, here, any communication, English is a vital point actually. So we cannot, earlier when we are kid, we used to select which language we have to go, in English medium or Kannada medium, like that. So, but nowadays when we come to a place like Bangalore, because I studied, born and brought up in a rural area, so English is vital, new things in the childhood days actually. Okay, so whenever we stand, we attend interview, so English is the major things comes to hit us actually. So actually in my view, English is the one, it is very, you have to improve your skill by attending the classes like this. This is an opportunity and ensuring that so you have to use the English language in an appropriate way so that your communication can improve and other people see you are a good speaker like that. Maybe example like Shiva and all. So English is a language we can use and you can utilize effective way to better ourselves. Thank you.
Very well spoken, Ramakrishna, since he clearly mentioned the statement that English is also just a language, where it's used as a medium of communication for every single one. Just because you know a little bit better English, you went to a better school, spoke in a sophisticated words, it does not define that you come from a very privileged or entitled world, which we mistake in this particular country per se. So let's avoid that one thought process a day, and let's make sure, like any other language, English is also just a language, and our mother tongue, the country where we came from, where we have so many regional languages, let's also talk that more along with English. So please give a huge round of applause for Ramakrishna. So the next particular topic is, in the world called as SMS generation or chat generation, if you tell something more than 4 lines, it's called lecture. In the world of SMS generation or chat, if you tell something more than 4 lines, it's considered to be a lecture. And this particular topic goes to Shreya. Can we have you on the stage? Please give her a huge round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and our esteemed guest. Apparently, I am part of the SMS generation. I don't think that 4 lines counts as a lecture per se, because I've had much longer lectures from my father. His lectures tend to go about 2 hours long, and I wouldn't say that that's a bad thing, because he teaches me a lot of things in his lectures. He tells me about his life, tells me what he's done that I shouldn't do and what he's not done that I should do. And it gets tiring after a point, because I've heard his same stories about a million times. But I still enjoy them because it's a way for me to connect with my father and with his past. It's a way for me to learn how my dad got where he is and what I should do to get where I'm supposed to be. But I do agree it gets tiring. And whenever I say that, he tends to get irritated, but it's normal. And yeah, I don't know what else is. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya. Very true, every dad's daughter goes through this, that after a while you listen how your dad did a great thing, crossed a sea or a river to attend the school, or studied in front of a snake, or paid attention under a street light. So all this happens usual, but once you grow up, and it takes a lot of time for you to realize this, or for me as well, you miss those lectures, which happens to me too. And I would anyway hear my dad speak about Indira Gandhi, Indra Nooyi, Kiran Bedi, become like that, or speak about the self-worth, or speak about how to help others and how to be more kind. All these lectures become very tiring, but once we cross that stage where we are handling things, you miss that lecture from your parents. And we reach that stage too at some point. And definitely just listen to more, because someday you're going to miss that. So let's proceed forward to the next particular topic. And the next topic is, this can be both for or against the topic. So this is left to the speaker. And the topic is, my ambition when I was 4 years old was to be married. My ambition when I was 4 years old was to be married. And this particular topic goes to Toastmasters Jyothi ma'am.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. When I was 4 years old, my ambition was to get married. I don't know how Sindhushree knows about it. Because all through my life, the only ambition I had was to get married. I had this romantic view. Film had influenced me a lot. Walking with my partner hand in hand all through the road, and wanted a joint family where I could take care of my in-laws, hundreds or tens of people and all those things. Well, my fantasy world, as always, I love to be there, but it didn't work. And by the time it didn't work, it was very late for me to understand that my ambition should have been something more than not getting married. But nevertheless, my ambition started when I was around 42 or 43 years. It was just 4 was there, but not in a single digit, in a double digit. And from that time, my ambition, I think the sky is the limit. And I'm continuously going on. The point is, my fantasy, my dreams, my ambitions, they all come together. And then I'm again running to have everything at once. But all in all, I think age doesn't matter. 4 years or 40 years to be ambitious or to dream or to achieve what you want, because what matters is the childlike thought that you had in 4 when you thought that everything is possible under this earth if you want it. Because a child of 4 always has that simplicity and the innocence to say that I can get what I look forward for. And with that, I hand over to Supreeth.
inspiration today. Everybody crossing the life responsibilities, burdens, hurdles, overcoming that particular fear and everything else to achieve the things that they want to do. And I think we have something to learn from every single one over here. And please give a huge round of applause for this person. So the next particular topic is, what's your happy flow? Happy flow just means to say that, for example, just imagine you're using Amazon on your app, Amazon app on your phone. You check a very beautiful bag or a lamp that you want to buy, or probably Balaji is searching for a very beautiful sari for your wife. And if you're searching something you found instantly, you didn't have to go through a lot of hurdles. Found instantly, put it in cart, bought it, purchased it, zip up, gone. That is called as happy flow. No hurdles, no burdens in between. Just a pure, happy, blessed life, or a pure, happy, blessed day. How does your happy flow look like? The topic is, how does your happy flow look like? And for this topic, I would like to welcome Abhimaan on the stage, please.
This is my second time giving a tabletop speech, so I'm nervous. To be happy, like I do some particular kind of yoga actually, which actually gives me, it's a 21-minute practice, which gives me like instant happiness after I do it for some time at least. So I do it twice a day, and that's what keeps me happy. Apart from that, looking at life's situations around so much of injustice and inequality around in the society, I don't feel happy at all looking at all of that. And there's so much of competition also in terms of jobs and all that also. I don't find happiness in all of that. I feel people should be people should follow their own passion and find their own creative genius within themselves to lead a fulfilling life. They should not be competitive and always be comparing themselves with others, because that doesn't make sense in the long term. And they should find their own genius. That's what I feel. Thank you.
In just Abhimaan just said, be happy with yourself and love what you do. Find your passion and don't compare yourself with others. Very well spoken, Toastmaster Abhimaan, and we're really glad that you could express yourself so freely. And I would say that you expressed those things that everybody had there in their minds. So let's go for the last topic of the day. The last topic is, according to Google statistics that was recently drawn, a minimum individual in India with a smartphone has minimum of 40 apps. Even if you open your phone and look at it right now, you'll have a minimum of 40 apps, minimum of that somewhere near around. So the topic is, when was the last time you downloaded an app, even though you knew it was the most worthless or easiest cause, or did not have cause at all? When was the last time you downloaded an app which had no meaning or a cause and forgot that you installed it? And this particular topic goes to Apoorva. Please welcome her with a huge round of applause.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Topic again.
What was the app that you downloaded with the most under cause?
Okay. So, the table topic session is always a challenge. So, I always go blank whenever I hear the topic. So, I just hope I don't make any gaffe standing here in front of you all. So, coming back to the topic, when was the app?
Which one did you use? Yeah.
Which I downloaded, which I knew it was a complete waste, in short. So, of late, recently, I downloaded an app called Threads from Instagram, just because everybody on social media, on Twitter, it was basically a competition for Twitter, but basically everybody were downloading it and posting on Instagram, which made me download it as well. I just realized few days back, I've not opened the app even once after downloading it. And there was also videos being viral telling if you uninstall Thread or delete your account on Thread, it will affect the account on Instagram, which made me wonder if I should really uninstall it and delete my account. But I was really scared. Until I spoke to this about this to my brother, who corrected me, telling nothing like this was gonna happen. So I think 2 days back I uninstalled it and realized nothing happened to my Instagram account. These were all fake news to make sure that nobody deletes it, because it was a direct competition to Twitter, and there were a lot of Twitter wars also regarding this. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Apoorva. Definitely, our phone carries a lot of junk these days. And trust me when we say all the app marketers out there, app developers out there have moved from website to mobile, where we want to just keep you engaged for as long as possible. People who spent 2 minutes on Instagram earlier are now spending more than 2 hours. How does this happen? Just by understanding your human behavior everywhere you clicked, viewed or pointed at. That's all. Take 2 moments before you download something, read through it and understand if it is something that is really adding value to your life. And since the theme is freedom today, and I cannot end the table topic without something relevant topic to exactly freedom, since we are celebrating Independence Day tomorrow. And the one moment in history which I really saw in a movie that I loved absolutely was this particular movie called as Mission Mangal, where the scientist finally says, Puri dunya se kaho, copy that. And every time I listen to that particular moment or a scene where it tells me that our India is great. You know why? Because we achieve things that's truly impossible. When you put your mind to it, Indians are not just jugaad people who want to pull each other down. People are those who are with kind heart. People are there who wants to be truly open to everybody. And end of the day, Indians are kind-hearted, soft-natured people. And this makes us stand out of the world, completely out, and we achieve things that are completely impossible. And this particular topic is Puri Dunya Se Kaho, copy that. The topic is Puri Dunya Se. Tell it to the whole world to copy us. And this particular topic goes to DTM K Prabhakara sir. Please welcome him to the
Puri Dunya Se Kaho, what is the end of it?
Copy that.
Copycat.
Copy that.
Copy that. Madam Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and welcome guests. If you see the world or the history or even evolution, it's always one-upmanship. It is 30 people, a tribe, and fighting against another tribe for a piece of land. If you extend that, it becomes a kingdom, or a Padyagara in Kannada, a small place, or a Padya becomes Padyagara. Then a small time king and a big king. And then nation. Nation is an extension of tribalism. Let's put some thought onto this. And if you see the planet Earth from a distance, there are no boundaries. When it comes to such a situation, the wars over the last 100 years, more so after World War II, has reduced drastically. Whatever is happening, I would say, is silly. The one concept that I would like to bring in here is that the conflict is inevitable in human life because we are only fighting for resource limited. Because of the resource limitation,
we see that we need to grab things to ourselves against a certain other group, which is another nation, let's put it that way. So conflict is inevitable. Conflict is, that's eye contact. And see, let them finish it, I'll continue. Alright, my time is cut off, 10 seconds. Now, conflict is inevitable, but combat is optional. Do you want to really physically fight, kill each other? Conflict is there, why not talk and close it? Like Ukraine war, was it required? At least in 21st century. And if you see, that's where the basic concept that you want every nation to copy is already kind of philosophized in our way of life, that every nation, if it follows, mostly the conflict, the combat doesn't. That is, ayam idaha paroveti gananam laguchetasam udaracharitam vasudeva kutumbakam. Means that you say that he is mine, he is not mine. Okay? But as far as the really liberated the persons are concerned, this whole world, this whole planet is one single family. If you think that way, everything will be in place, and that is one thought that has to be replicated time and again, told all the time to different nations, different places, so that they don't go to the combat. Is it worth it? Think over. We talk of so much of the pollution, but nobody talks about the pollution being caused by war. So this is a paradox, but the thought has to be changed, and that's where perhaps we survive and keep the planet going for the next generation. Over to table topic master.
K Prabhakara sir really upholded the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So we'll have a union of applause for K Prabhakara sir for that. I believe this is a wonderful table topic session where everybody got a chance to speak on things that really matter to them and express their views and their perspectives on it. And let's make sure that end of the day when you're doing something, do something that only adds value to your life. The things that makes you a better person, better individual, and somewhere down the line you can also do good things for others. And that's all that we Indians stand for, I guess. And with that, thank you so much for having me as a table topic master, and I would like to welcome the model of the day.
Thank you, table topics master. Now we will go to the general evaluation. Let's have a 10-minute break. Alright, let's start with the last section, which is the general evaluation section. Today's general evaluator is a mechanical engineer working in applied materials, and he's a district finalist in table topics and evaluation contest. And he likes to play football and also a gamer who plays with his PlayStation. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Supreeth as a general evaluator.
Good evening, everyone. With the interest of time, I'll quickly jump to my general evaluation session. But before I do, I would request all of you to just fill out these ballots for the best speaker and the best table topic speaker. Oh, we do it online? Online. Or maybe then you can take some time off and write the feedback later. But can you say if you can send out the ballots? Let me quickly get into the business session, the evaluation session. The business session started at around 6:25 p.m. I think it was really nice to see people taking the freedom to start the session without the president because he was busy with his other duties, and we didn't want the session to get delayed because of that. I really liked the way we handled that. We leveraged our freedom to ensure that the show must go on. So it was really well done. I really kudos to everyone who took that responsibility and started. So we started at 6:25. The business session was short and crisp. First note on behalf of the VP Education that all the roles are open. So please take that up and talk to the VP Ed. The second one was an announcement about the 25th anniversary meeting on the 27th of August. So please go ahead and register before the 20th as Shiva rightly directed us to do. So business session was short and crisp, then followed by the Sergeant at Arms address. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sharanye, I really like your energy, your enthusiasm and your exuberance. The moment you come here, you have a nice big smile, loud voice and very good energy to start off the meeting. That's a very good note for me to really look at the meeting. It's very well, good job done on that. You went on, you had a very good introduction to the theme and a nice impromptu introduction to the impromptu president. Right? I liked how you really tweaked it right on the spot and decided, yes, this is what we have to do. And your introduction to him did not have any slacks as such. That is what I really liked. I know you didn't have the time to make it really good, but for what it was needed, you really did a very good job. Couple of things maybe that you can work on is, one is pause. You're quite fast, right? So I've been there, done that, so I know what's the problem with that. So as much as possible, try to pause, especially when you're giving something that's important for the crowd to understand or observe. The second thing is, it's just 2 minutes or 3 minutes that you speak. Don't read it out of a book. Try to make sure that it's more natural, you're not reading, you're looking at people when you're talking to them, right? That's how we learn with the sergeant's role, but nothing to take away from what you did. Very good job done. Can we have a round of applause for Toastmaster Sharanye? With that, we moved on to the acting president. Again, kudos to the impromptu stuff. You immediately stepped up, you realized you are in line, like when it happened, when you were the associate sergeant at arms, where president was not there, VP8 was not there. This was a slightly different scenario, but I like how you stepped up and took hold of the situation, took charge, and you fulfilled it quite well. From the business session, to the guest introduction, to having the secretary's minutes, you did everything right. You handled it really well. Your speech, which was very impromptu, you were very smart in picking up something from your personal experience, because that's what comes best to us when we are put in a fix, right? So you really put up a nice personal experience, very well connected it to the theme. So very nice learning on how to deliver a speech, beautifully done, and that pronounce-filled introduction to the MC. He's an engineering in something whose company does something in CAD, so the pronoun-filled introduction to the MC was really nice, though that was what the situation called for. You did brilliantly well. So I can see a very good president in the future. A huge round of applause for Toastmaster Shiva, please. With that, we moved on to the prepared speech session. The first speech was by Toastmaster Mehjabin. I would request her individual evaluator, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, to please present his evaluation. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. My target speaker, Mehjabin Akhtar. Congratulations on completion of Level 1 Project 4. I will be evaluating your speech in 3 parts: what went well, where you can improve upon, and the summary part. What went well? Opening. You started with the question, what is mind? It's a commonality question that everybody will be interested to know what his or her mind is all about. You grab the attention by asking that question. That itself is a good opening. Coming to the transition to the body, you spoke about inner world with reference to mind. Good content that you have developed as far as the body part is concerned. You spoke about the thoughts, positive and negative, with good examples, gave very relatable like thermometer, jellyfish, and positive attitude and negative attitude. All these details were given in detail. When it comes to the question of your speech further, your spoken language is very clear, easily understood by all. You used your tone, speed, volume as tools. You asked questions and waited for audience response. That's really wonderful, that I need to appreciate for your effort. Used the lectern space much better than in your earlier speeches, which I observed. That's a very good point. That's a very appreciable part as far as your speech is concerned. Coming to where you can improve upon. You could have used your physical gesture better in synchronization with that of the content. Your content was very strong, whereas your physical gesture was not in synchronization with the strong content as such. Try to improve eye contact to convey emotion and elicit response. Instead of asking questions and waiting for that, you could have used that emotion part so that you could have taken that speech to a different level altogether. And you could have created a story in such a way that you introduce some characters bring in some conflicts and the conflict resolution. This makes your speech much stronger. In your next speeches, you can incorporate all these things. But at the end, I had trouble in hearing your conclusion part. Maybe it could have been much louder so that audience can understand it much better. Overall, as a summary, good speech, good effort. I expect many more speeches from you in due course of time. All the best in future. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra, for that detailed evaluation. With that, we'll move on to the second speaker. The second speaker was Toastmaster Gaurav. I request his individual evaluator, Udanka, to present his evaluation. Can we have a round of applause, please?
Thank you, General Evaluator, and good evening for the Toastmasters and Gaurav, Toastmaster Gaurav in particular. 10 to 15 minutes speech with so many distractions is not an easy task. The topic which you chose, you started off by telling what's our dream location. The moment you told, everyone were able to connect with you because everyone sitting in this room has an individual dream location or a different dream location, and they will immediately, they could connect with you. Now coming to the points where you really excelled during the due course of time. You were thrown with n number of questions which did not have a pause at all. So every time I observed that you did not say no to a person to answer them back, or you did not give a negative response saying, okay, can you just stop here? You were not doing that, but you promptly told a positive response. For every member who disturbed you, you had a positive response for them. That's a really good one. Second point, while you were responding to these members, you had a humorous touch for them. That actually made sure that though you had so many disturbance and the speech was not going on a flow, you made sure everyone would come back to your speech through that humorous responses. That were the points you really did well. Now coming to the points where you could improve a bit so that you manage a difficult audience. The way you were responding to the questions which were thrown at you was a friendly one. So for example, when Toastmaster Sindhu asked what was XYZ, you were friendly, and I was like, yeah, that is there, I'll come back to you later. There was a friendly touch to the response what you had, but when you go out of this room and you address a larger audience with a more professional way, that friendly response would not help. So a friendly touch would not work out there. A professional touch saying yes ma'am or something, a professional touch could have added more value to the responses. Second, a point where you could control this entire huge difficult audience for today was, while you were thrown a couple of questions, you could have paused majority of the questions by giving them certain instructions. For example, you had Toastmaster Sharanye's phone ring a couple of times. You just told Sharanye, or can you please put your in a lower tone, but if you could have instructed that to everyone in general and with other few instructions saying, let's take the questions to the end of the session, or let's have your doubts clarified at the end, that would have reduced your questions by 50% is what I believe. And now coming to a point where you can challenge yourself is, one thing I observed in today's thing, you started enjoying the process, what it was happening. You started enjoying the questions which were thrown. There were some humorous touch for the questions, and there were few cross talks happening, and you started enjoying those talks. But it was required for you to monitor the entire speech, and you were the main person of the play today. So a little more control over your speech and asking them to it's okay to stop them in between. It's okay to say they were in the cross talk, you could have started with a louder voice so that they calm down and you take over the stage limelight. So these were the points you could work on your speech. I'm really not touching the content of the speech, but because that was being asked for me. With that, I am pretty sure you will manage a greater audience with a greater difficulties, 100 times than this difficulties in a much more crowder. All the best for your future speeches and giving me back stage back to the judges.
Thank you, Udanka. Before I go to my evaluation, I request all of you to fill out the ballots for the best evaluators. So coming to the evaluations, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra. So my job as the GE is to evaluate the evaluator, not the speaker as such. So Vijay Upendra, what I really liked about your evaluation is you had a good structure to it, and you explained that to the speaker, saying this is what I'll be evaluating on, or this is what I'll be evaluating you with. right? These are the parameters that I'll be going through, and then you stuck to them, right? So that was a part that was really well done. And if I had to give you one point of improvement as to what you can do better, usually in evaluations what we try to do is not just tell them what they can improve, but also give them a small glimpse of how they can do it. Maybe sometimes the speaker knows that I have to improve on this, but they don't know how to do it, right? Maybe here you give an example, you take a small piece out of their speech and just give a small glimpse of how they could have improved, right? It's not just the words, but the hows also that are important. So maybe you could have done that, but a great evaluation. A good round of applause to Toastmasters Vijay, Upendra. Moving on to DTM Udanka, with respect to your evaluation, what I liked about your evaluation is certain specific points that were required from the manual, right, in handling such a crowd, a difficult crowd. Those points were rightly brought out, where you said that he could have stopped crosstalks, or he could have given some standing instructions before he even started the speech. So those things were really well done. In what you could have improved a little, you could have given him a heads up of how your evaluation is going to be, right? What is it you're going to talk about first, what second, and what third. And like we always know, summarizing the feedback is always very important for a speaker to understand and comprehend your speeches or comprehend your evaluation. But all in all, a great prepared speech session. A good round of applause for all the speakers and the evaluators. Moving on to the table topic session, I think by far, if there is a record for the longest table topic session, Sindhu will take away the gold medal for that. What I liked about your session is there were good topics, slightly twisted, thought-provoking, and I see that a lot of thought process has gone behind these topics when you framed them for this particular session. So I like the work that has gone behind the topics and the session. But what I would say was a small sort of disappointment for me was the way it was executed, right? You started off to give an intro about the session, which was really good, right? To tell them why impromptu is important. But pulling out a personal example, and that became a 3-minute, 4-minute speech, right? And in between every single table topic speaker, there was a response of yours that was 1.5 or 2 minutes long, which basically what happens is takes away the power of the speakers, the energy or the enthusiasm that each of the speaker has, because you start either giving them feedback or give your own take on the topic, right? Your job is to facilitate people to give their take on the topic, and you hold back to your feedback because that's the evaluator or my job to do, right? So when you shuffle all this up, or when you bring all this together, one thing that happens is your session kind of extends and it takes away the charm from the speakers. Your session was almost 45 plus minutes today, which is usually a 20 to 25 minute session per se if we take 10 speakers and 22 minutes per topic, right? So that is something that I know we all have an urge to put that, to give our feedback. Sometimes we really like what somebody's response and we want to chime in on it, right? But maybe that's in the break or that's outside of the meeting to do it, right? So that is something that you can improve when it comes up to your next session. But I really like the way you framed your topics. If you can make it smaller, more crisp, it will be really impactful. A feedback that you got from most of the speakers is I think all the speakers asked you to repeat your topic once they came to the lectern. That's an implicit feedback that it could have been shorter for me to understand, right? So that is some subtle feedbacks that we got to take away when we stand here. But in all, a very good session. A good round of applause to Toastmasters. At this point, before I make any gaffes about my evaluation, can I please have the role takers to give away their reports, please? First of all, the timer, Toastmaster Karthik, can I please have your report?
Once again, good evening. Timer is welcomed by Segment Arms, it's 1 minute 32 seconds. President address is 6 minutes 24 minutes. Then the report of previous meeting is 1 minute 50 seconds. And I'll now go to speakers. Mehjabin 6 minutes 26 seconds, and Gaurav is 22 minutes 16 seconds. Coming back to Mehjabin, Evaluator is Vijay Upendra, it's 1 minute 30 seconds, and Udanka, it's 3 minutes 14 seconds. Coming back to the table topic, Toastmaster Keerthana, it's 2 minutes 2 seconds, and Toastmaster Sushruth is 1 minute 53 seconds, and DTM MU Bhat is 2 minutes 34 seconds. DTM Udanka is 1 minute 48 seconds. Toastmaster Shivaprasad is 1 minute 57 seconds. Toastmaster Ramakrishna is 1 minute 25 seconds. Toastmaster Shreya is 1 minute 7 seconds. Toastmaster Jyothi is 2 minutes 5 seconds. Toastmaster Abhimaan is 1 minute 32 seconds. And Toastmaster Apoorva is 2 minutes 3 seconds. DTM K Prabhakara sir is 3 minutes 3 seconds. Break time is 7 minutes 5 seconds. Thank you.
Mr. Karthik, first time timer? Yes. First time timer? Okay. Very good. Good round of applause to the debutant. Couple of things, Karthik, if I can tell you. Don't get flustered when you're behind the lectern. It's okay. We've all done this the first time and then we have evolved from there to whatever little we know here today. When you take up the role, just try to understand what happens with it. Be a little more organized. When you came up here to even explain the role, you had all your cards in one hand and you were trying to shuffle between them. Gaurav's speech came first, then you went into Mehjabin's speech. So try to go through the agenda that day, stick to the order. That was easy to follow. So don't worry about the rest. The table topic, it's not just for you, but the table topic response times is usually not needed to be announced by the timer here because it's pretty much written on the board. People can go through it, saves a little time. But for a debutant, very good performance. Can I have a round of applause for Toastmasters? Our counter, Toastmaster Apoorva. Can I please have your? Keep the applause going. She needs a nice round.
Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today's our counter report is Sergeant of Arms TM Sharanye, 1 hour. Acting President Shiva, 1 hour. TM of the day, TM Raja, 2 hours. TM Karthik, 4 hours, 1 hour. TM Jyothi, 1 hour. TM Sushruth, 2 hours. Speaker 1 Mehjabin, 4 hours, repeated words and took 4 pauses and the crutch words were sorry. Then TM Gaurav, it was really difficult to judge because he had a lot of disturbance in between. Yeah, there were 2 hours and the repeated words were I. Table topic master TM Sindhushree, 4 hours, repeated words were Y and the crutch word was and. TM Keerthana was 2 hours, 1 m. TM Sushruth was 4 hours. DTM MU Bhat was 2 hours. DTM Udanka took 1 pause and the crutch word was and. DTM Ramakrishna was 4 hours and a few pauses. DTM Shreya was 1 hour. DTM Jyothi was 1 hour and 2 pauses. DTM Abhimaan was 2 hours, 2 pauses. DTM K Prabhakara was flawless. DTM Shiva was also flawless. The general evaluator to DTM Supreeth was 2 hours. Thank you.
Really happy I became a DTM without much trouble. Good job done. I think this is your first time because she did a very smart thing when they said call out for the role. She opened it on her phone, she read it from the Toastmasters website about the script, our counter script and log. So that was really nice. She just put it up here and she read as to what it should be done. So that was a really good job, playing it smart when you read it. A good job done. Just a quick feedback, it's only Toastmasters, there are very few DTMs. Right? It's DTM K Prabhakara, DTM MU Bhat, DTM Udanka. Any other DTMs? Yet? No, not yet. So it's Toastmaster, only who finished the whole thing is distinguished Toastmaster. But yeah, we all learned our mistakes. So go round of applause to Toastmasters. The PP Evaluator, Toastmaster Sushruth.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and esteemed guests again. We didn't have any talks about sex, religion or politics. We had one phone ring as per plan, but nothing other disturbance. and nobody walked in or walked out of the session while the speaker was speaking. That's the report, and back to the thing.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sushruth, and the Grammarian's report by Toastmaster Jyothi, please.
Good evening, Toastmasters. Before I give you the report, I want to tell you that I have committed a gaffe by not giving the word of the day when I introduced my role. So, the word of the day was gaffe, and the meaning is embarrassing blunder. Usage, he seems to be oblivious to this serious gaffe he committed during his speech. I will now give you the good usage and not so good usage. The good usage is, no, let me go on with the not so good usage, because again I committed a gaffe because I was so engrossed in listening. I was not able to find out not so good usage. I have a couple of them. Big signal could have been longer wait. Who is dropping could have been who are dropping. I think I got only 2 of them. The good usage is mind is a thought factory, trash in, trash out. Life is an orchestra, no, life's orchestra, CEO for mind, dream destination, hell of a view, and then immediately it was a magnificent view. So shape up or shape out, life without freedom is like body without spirit. Bragging, imperative, street smart, figurative or metaphorical. Sorry, I'll have to take some time to learn that. Happy flow, extension of tribalism, conflict is inevitable but combat is optional, pollution by war, conflicts resolution, not only what's but house is also important. House is HOWS. Implicit. The last of my report, again I have committed a gaffe by not recording the person who had used gaffe in their speech. So if you could help me to name one person, I think there was one person who used that. You had used it. Okay, Shiva had used it. So
let's give them a round of applause.
And with that report, back to the general evaluator.
Jyothi, did you plan to commit so many gaffes so that you can use that word 3-4 times in your report? A job well done, couple of misses here and there. I think we all learn. A good round of applause to Toastmaster Jyothi. With that, we move to the MC of the day, Toastmaster Raja. I think I've seen you give a couple of speeches here. I've seen your journey, so it's really nice to see you as the Toastmaster. At least my first time seeing you. What I really liked, great energy. You have very good usage of words. You have a nice holdover language, so that's really nice. And you did a very good job with the role, right? You started off with a small story, not too short, not too long, right? Not too short to make it dismissive, but not too long to bore the crowd. You knew how much, what is apt, and that's the mark of a true MC, to understand where I can tweak my speeches, so that if it's taking time, I shorten it, and I make sure the meeting runs on time, right? That's the best part of being an MC, is to be the hero without being the hero. So that job is something that you really did well. The small story of the guy with the hammer, how you connected it, and it was a very different message. So I really like the word when you said we all become prisoners of knowledge, and we need to liberate ourselves from it. So very nice thought. It's a very nice message to everyone sitting around here. So you started off your session very nice. You had apt introductions to everyone. Those speech titles were there. So all in all, a very good execution. Couple of things if I have to point out, and this is not just for you, one thing that I want to say is in general, a couple of things that I see is when we do our introductions here, right, we generally try to follow a standard format that says give the intro to the speaker, then give the title of the speech, and then give the speaker's name, right? An engineer from some background who now works for a company that does something like CAD. Please welcome with his speech titled Mind Your Mind, Toastmaster Raja. That's when the applause starts. What we normally do is we give out the speaker's name and then we say with his or her speech title. By then everybody is applauding and people sitting in the audience miss the title of the speech. And in a lot of times, if you observe, the title of the speech is very important for people to understand or comprehend what they're going to expect in the speech. So let's give room for that. A second note is when you take introductions offline before you come to the meeting, I would suggest why not ask some probing questions, because I think everybody here knows, at least some of them here know that I'm a mechanical engineer with working in such and such a place. Something different, something related to the theme. Provoke them, poke the bear to understand what they think about it. Right? So that's a general feedback that we can all do to make the small changes to make our roles better. So, but all in all, a lovely session. You had the right energy, humor here and there as needed. You peppered it really well. So good round of applause to the MC Toastmaster Raja. I think I'm coming back after a very long time. One of these recent ways, just to touch on the theme, in one of the conferences, we happened to bump into Sunil Chhetri, the captain of the Indian football team. They were celebrating one of their victories. I think it was the Bengaluru FC victory some time back. And the whole team was standing there enjoying cutting cakes and they were trying to feed him. He's the captain of the Indian cricket team. He has a regime that he wants to stick to, but at the same time, he can't disappoint his team. He put a piece of the cake in his mouth because his teammates forced him to. He excused himself, ran to the bathroom, spit it out and washed his face and he came out. Everybody in the team thought he ate it, but only he knew that he had not eaten it. And he says, I have the freedom to eat anything. Today, luckily, I can afford it. I have the freedom to do this. But the moment I take extra advantage of the freedom, I see a decline somewhere else. My performance can go down. That one small, it was this big, it was an inch by inch if I have to be very precise, the size of the cake. But that's how carefully he measures and he leverages his freedom. Yes?
You said cricket and you said
Sorry, football. He was a football captain. That small piece can totally ruin his career, because that's where it starts. That's where discipline starts. So he knows where to take advantage of his freedom, where not to take advantage of his freedom. Right? And this is a very nice place to learn that. This is where I have learned where to take a little advantage of my freedom that I have, and this place has given me the freedom to speak. Right? So that freedom of speech is what we get here, but with those constraints. I think Keerthana met me downstairs and said, I'm just a month old here. And I turned to her and I said, I'm just a decade old here. Right? I know most of you have not seen me, but I'm almost a decade old here. So it's that freedom, that power that we get when we come behind the lectern that makes us keep coming. So make use of this beautiful place, learn more, give more. With on that note, back to the MC.
Thank you, Toastmasters Supreeth, for such a great evaluation. Alright, we are at the end of the session. I want everybody to vote. Alright, back to the president.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Raja. What a fantastic MC he has been and what a beautiful speaker he has been. Today is definitely a special day because we have Toastmaster Supreeth who's come in and become the GE. What could happen to your speech if you're a part of Mekon for 10 long years? You can look at Toastmaster Supreeth. He's won a lot of titles for the club, and I think let's hear it for Supreeth and let's motivate him to be a little more regular. Okay, might not be GE, but I use my presidential power and I vouch for Supreeth's a little more attendance. At least maybe let's try to hit 70 so that we can land at 68, 67. And we would love to have you take up more roles, Supreeth. On that, let us quickly go for the question of the day. How many of you are here and attending our 25th year anniversary meet? And how many of you have Google Pay or Phone Pay? Okay, while we actually gave some time for you to cast your vote, I'll also go ahead and give you some time to go ahead and register. right? So please go ahead and register so that we can reduce some strain on Shiva and Shiva doesn't get into the follow-up game again. I understand there are a few people whose Google Pay is not going to work, like mine. So what you can do is give me cash, and Shiva, I promise to Google Pay to you through my wife's account. Okay, and if you are looking for a scanner, so don't worry, 300 rupees is not a lot because what we are giving in return. If it's too far, then maybe you can make the bold move of moving from your venue and your chair and maybe come a little closer.
No, we can send it directly to his account.
Yeah, if you cannot scan, yes, you can just use Shiva's phone number.
You don't have to do it.
Oh, firstly,
yeah, Shiva's phone number, I think.
Absolutely, you can do that as well.
Shiva's phone number is there, we can send it across.
So while you're all at it, if we have the results in. Okay, so while we get to the results are in. There are around 20 responses. Okay, sounds about right.
No.
We have a new member who's come in today for her induction, and let's call upon DTM K Prabhakara for the same, and let's also call upon Toastmaster Shreya for her induction. With a nice round of applause.
Membership in Toastmasters is a privilege, and the only way to gain benefits of our program is to actively participate. Do you, Shreya, promise to be active member of this club, to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for your duties?
I do.
Louder. Louder.
Oh, I do.
Do you promise to fulfill other points of Toastmasters promise?
I do.
Have you read it?
Yes,
Thank you. I now request the members of the club to please rise from their seats. Do you, members of Mekon Communication Club, promise to support Shreya as she works through the Toastmasters program?
Yes. Yes.
Please be seated. It is my pleasure to now declare you as installed as member of Mekon Communication Club. You be in touch with VP member and VPE, that is the Vice President Education. He will allot you a mentor, and you are included in the WhatsApp group. And at the top of the WhatsApp group, there is a link wherein which you can find a place, a link where you click, you will go to the play where Toastmasters Navigator program is there. You can read through that, you will get an idea why and how this meeting is being conducted, and all other links are also there. You can go through that, then you will understand how to go about each of these roles, and all the works are given there. And wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, DTM K Prabhakara, for doing this diligently. Such a good thing to see a ceremony like this marks a start. How beautiful it's gonna be, I'll let Toastmaster Shreya decide. With that, let's get to the list of our winners. The best role taker, MTG. Okay, amidst all the strict fight that we had, give it up for our G, the legendary Mekonian Toastmaster Supreeth. And for our best role taker, Tap G. She's fairly new, very promising, and it has started off with the ribbon as validation. Please give it up for Toastmaster Apoorva, our accountable president. our best table topic speaker. No prizes for guessing. I think he's just made it a habit to take all the ribbons home. Any guesses? Are we allowed to? No, we're not. So let's go ahead and call the. Can we give the camera to someone? Our best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Shiva. Today we had two amazing evaluations. Both the evaluators added a lot of value, a lot of credible things that came in, and our best evaluator for the day is DTM Udanka. Amidst all the votes, I think this is definitely quite a rare sight to have best speakers. Give it up for both the speakers of the day, because both of them are our best speakers for the day. With that, without any further ado, we have already short time, but for quite obvious reasons, I think from the club's end, especially from Sindhu's end and myself, we would like to apologize to Gaurav. And we would like to apologize the timer as well, because no, we were not apologizing either. We're being very sarcastic there. I hereby close our meeting number 1226.